Okay, here's the deal. This book is not perfect, and I never said it was. I'm just the kind of guy who sees the awesomeness of something through their imperfections. Imperfections that you as a community were happy to point out in my latest video about Scarlet Citadel. And I've taken a proper look at some of those criticisms and imperfections about Scarlet Citadel, and I have to admit, some of those are actually a bit bigger than I expected in the first place. So I want to talk about those imperfections that you pointed out, talk about how I overcome them, and also talk about how I still think Scarlet Citadel might be the best dungeon crawl, at least old school feeling dungeon crawl for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons out there right now. Now I want to take a little bit of a different approach with this video and talk about what you don't get if you buy Scarlet Citadel, because I think it is really important that you kind of figure out if this product is for you, because I think a lot of the criticism about Scarlet Citadel comes from a position of people not really knowing what they were getting themselves into when they were buying the book. Before I go any further, I just want to quickly say that I'm running a Kickstarter campaign right now, and if you want to see me continue doing these videos on YouTube, you want to see me continue writing adventures, creating stuff for my community, for you guys, make sure to check that out and support it for 20 euros, because for 20 euros you don't only get like a completely written adventure written by Dot Steverson from Kobold Press and myself. You also get my previous adventures, you get discount codes for other books that I worked on, you get potentially a virtual tabletop, Foundry virtual tabletop version, all of that stuff. Make sure to check that out, because your $20 right now, sorry, euros right now, go a long way for me to continue what I'm doing right here on YouTube for you. This is an old school feeling dungeon crawl. It is nothing more, it is nothing less. It is incredibly well built, it is incredibly well written, it is incredibly well everything, but it is what it is. And by that I mean is I always split GM books up in two categories. There's the quality of life books, that's what I call them, quality of life books, which are like books like from Kobold Press themselves. Prepared, for example, a book that you take out, like you read like one page for 10 minutes or 2 pages for like 10 minutes or whatever, and you can run almost an entire game, have fun, just have a shitload of fun and all of that stuff. And then there's the bigger books, the more books that go a little bit deeper than that. There's books like this one, Scarlet Citadel, where it is actually meant for you to sit down with it, with like a notebook, and actually prepare the game, actually write down some names of NPCs, write down some IDs, just prepare the game in general. Actually read an entire section the week before, days before your party is coming to your house or whatever to play D&D. You need to like old school kind of prepare a game. Scarlet Citadel is that kind of book, and I think a lot of people nowadays, with the abundance of books that are like really plug and play books, which are great. I mean, I love plug and play books. I love books like Prepared. I love books that just have stuff that you just take in 5 minutes, toss it into your game. But compare this to like I don't know, the Midgard World book, for example. The Midgard World book, you need to like read in order to know what's going on, right? There's a lot of stuff to read in order to know what's going on. So for me, that alone fixes a lot of the issues, because some of the issues pointed out, for example, were that the Scarlet Citadel has a lot of text to describe rooms, blocks of text with not a lot of bullet points. Now, I can kind of see that. I haven't ran into the issue per se as much as some people, but that said, I'm only on level 2 of the adventure. Like, my players are only on level 2 of the adventure, meaning that I might run into some of those, and I've seen some blocks of text, and in some books I hate it, but in this book I actually like it, because I sit down with my notebook and actually write down names, and I write down locations, and I write down like how some things intertwine with each other. So for me, that's not a big problem, but I know there's people out there who might be used to like everything being given to them on a silver plate, which is great. I don't mean that like in a bad way. I mean, creating something that is easy to use is really good feat to have as a designer, but it's not just per se what Scarlet Citadel is all about. Another thing that you don't get with the Scarlet Citadel, and might be the biggest issue for most people, is that you don't get a fully fleshed out adventure. Scarlet Citadel is a dungeon. It is not an adventure. And at first, when I first started reading it, I was like, okay, but where is the incentive for player characters to go into the Scarlet Citadel? Is there like a bad guy in there? Is there like gold in there? What is in there? What is the incentive for players to go in there? Like, what you get is actually a situation and a location for you to make up your own incentive for your players to go into the Scarlet Citadel. You get Red Tower, the town of Red Tower. There is a lot of problems in the town of Red Tower. It is completely fleshed out. It is actually a really cool fleshed out town. Really underappreciated as a town that you can just place anywhere in any world, but they have like some problems with the Scarlet Citadel, and they kind of like ask your players, ask the player characters to go into the Scarlet Citadel and kind of get rid of some of that stuff. But the Scarlet Citadel being so dangerous, it is really easy for the players to just like turn their backs and be like, fuck it, we're out. Like, there's freaking jelly trying to eat me. Somebody fell into a pit with like flesh-eating bats. There's traps in there that just teleport you thousands of years into the future or thousands of years into the past. All of that crap. The players might turn their back and be like, no fucking way, we're doing that. I totally get that. But that again makes it really cool. This is not the hand-holdy type of book. It is a book that gives you the location, gives you the situation. There is a town, there is a dungeon. The town has a problem with the dungeon. Some creatures in the dungeon have a problem with the town. There is a situation. The thing that I did was, my players are actually looking for an airship. And in the Midgard campaign setting, the only people who have access to airship technology are the dwarves of the Ironcrag clans. Now, to gain the favor of the dwarves of the Ironcrag clans, the players decide to do a bounty for them, because they're looking for a mad wizard who knows a lot about their technology, and they don't want that knowledge to spread around the world of Midgard, so he needs to die. And in order for the players to go and get him, they need to go to the bottom of the Scarlet Citadel, because guess what? The Scarlet Citadel has a mad wizard in the lowest level. It has a lot of like sub-bosses, different creatures with like different reasons to be in the Scarlet Citadel, and in the bottom of Scarlet Citadel there's this mad wizard who rules over all of the other creatures and kind of like the boss of the dungeon, and he like allows other people to live in the dungeon so he can be left alone and he could do his research with knowledge and all of that stuff. So I created this big incentive for my players in order to go into the Scarlet Citadel, because they want an airship, because they want to go all the way to the south of the Southlands of Midgard, because they want to go there with they have dinosaur eggs and they want to hatch their dinosaur eggs there in dinosaur country. But in order to go there, they want an airship, blah, go into the Scarlet Citadel, go and kill one mad wizard, gain the favor of the Ironcrag clans, and they might give you an airship. That is how I did it, but that is something you as a game master need to do. This has been sitting on my shelf for quite a while. This has been sitting on my shelf, I think, for more than a year, not being played. It has not been played. Somebody else borrowed it from me, played it, loved it, but it was not played for about a year. It's been sitting on my shelf, and at a certain point, my players were like, we need this, I just needed something, like, I just needed it, and I took it, and I had the tools, I had the situation and the location for my players to go into an old school feeling dungeon crawl. So the work is up to you as a game master to decide what is the incentive of the players to actually go in there and potentially get themselves killed in very gruesome and ugly ways. Another complaint you guys had was with the maps. As you might know, you can buy the Scarlet Citadel together with like these high quality, these are really sturdy cardboard-ish paper, high quality maps of the dungeon itself, right? So you can buy that together with your physical book, and it works with kind of like a is it called, what is it called? A layover system or something like that, where you have these little pamphlets that you can put on top of the maps. When the maps are on your table, you can put this on top of that when the terrain changes, when a portal opens up or a staircase opens up or a bonfire is lit or a trap is activated or whatever. You can just put this on top of that. Like when a machine is activated, for example, there's this time machine-ish thing. When that is activated, you put that on top. Now the complaint with it is not the quality. The quality is great. The colors are great. All of that stuff is great. The complaint is that some of the stuff, this is just, I'm pointing to something random just for the sake of having something visual on my videos. Some of the stuff is not exactly where it is compared to the description in the book. And that is due to, I don't know, somebody said that it is due to the map people working separately from like the writers or something like that. So not everything is exactly where it should be on the map compared to the description from the book. But I wouldn't know, because I don't use maps, like, at all. Like, I use the main big-ass dungeon map in order to track where my players went and where my players are going. And when they want to find their way, they just make a navigation check. I run everything theater of the mind, so that is a problem I just don't have. So I can't really talk about it. So if other people like know exactly what the problem there is, or know like an example, like an exact example of that, please put that in the comments below, because I wouldn't know. These maps are great. They look great. If I would play with miniatures and I would play with maps, these would be on my table, but I use theater of the mind. And the main reason I use theater of the mind is because I don't like to fiddle with extra stuff, but also because that leaves much more options open for me as a game master to improvise. I'm big on improvisation. When I run a book like this, and that's another point I want to quickly make, there's a lot of work to prepare this, and you're not going to remember all of it, every little detail of it. It is okay to run the book 70 to 80% and improvise the other 20%. As a matter of fact, I think I run for like 60% and improvise 40 to 50% just from the top of the dome. I make my own crap up on the fly. That's just how I love to play personally. But I'm just saying, even if you play 90% and 10% improvise, it is completely okay not to remember every detail. Many people get overwhelmed when they get like a lot of details in a book for dungeon crawl and like a lot of information for a room. It's okay not to remember and to kind of like forget there would be a desk against that wall right there that has some papers that are worth, I don't know, with a spell scroll. It's okay to forget as a game master. As long as the players are having fun, as long as everybody's keep coming to your table to roll dice, eat Cheetos, and make poor life decisions while playing Dungeons & Dragons, you're doing a great job. And that's just my 2 cents about some of the criticisms about Scarlet Citadel. Now, if you want to see me continue doing these videos, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure to put that in the comments below if you want to see me continue talking about the Scarlet Citadel, because I'm still running my players through the dungeon, and I want to kind of like episodically talk about what they are going through while they make their way through the dungeons and make poor decisions and almost get themselves killed or get themselves killed. Another way to really help me out, continue what I'm doing as a poor person on YouTube, is by backing my Kickstarter. Just click the freaking link in the description below and check it out for yourself. There's a trailer there or whatever. Until next video, bye bye.